here, and this is also found in Mark, and this is very, very important for Muslims to make a note of. Mark chapter 10, verse 18. And, Western secularist historians like Dale Martin at Yale, they have, certain methods of historiography that they use to analyze the New Testament. And one of these methods is called, criterion is called dissimilarity. In other words, if something is in the New Testament that sort of cuts against the grain of what early Hellenistic Christians would have wanted to have said about Jesus, then that's probably true, because it's embarrassing for them, right? To give an example, in Mark 10:18, a scribe comes to Jesus and he says, "Good master," right? Didaskale agaphe, good master, what must I do to gain eternal life? Right? Jesus responds by saying, according to the Greek, he says, "Ti me leges agathan, udes agathan emehes hatheas." He says, why me are you calling good? No one is good but one, that is God. Right? This is very embarrassing for Hellenistic Trinitarian Christians. So Dale Martin, according to his historiography, he says that this verse is probably authentic then, because it cuts against the grain of what early Christians would have wanted to have said about Jesus. Right? Very interesting. But an interesting sentence structure here in the Greek. Some translations say, it says, why are you calling me good? Right? But the Greek actually says, ti me leges. So it brings the maf'ul, which is the direct object, forward, and essentially is saying, why me do you call good? Right? So it's almost as if Isa alayhi salam is offended by the question, is offended by being called good. And this is from his tawadur. This is from his humility. There's no one good but one, and that is God. He's teaching them, this type of really rigid, strict tawheed, this monotheism, but still that relational aspect, that love of God, of course, is there as well. So Orthodox Trinitarian Christology, as we know it today, did not really start to take shape until after 381 of the Common Era. That's when Athanasius, he was representing the Orthodox position, proto-Orthodox position at Council of Nicaea. We'll talk more about these councils. After the De Trinitate of Augustine of Hippo, the Cappadocian church fathers, as well, and so on and so forth. And